Should you listen to the mother or should you listen to the father on this edition of Fellowship of the Father? Hi, this is Lawrence, and this is Fellowship of the Father. Today's episode will be about fathering. And before I answer that question on the back end, let's go ahead and talk about it for a minute about what fathering is, what it entails, especially in this day and age. So, when I was growing up, I had an amazing dad. I'll tell you that much. And he just came from an era where I think men were naturally doing great. I think they just came out of World War II. They went through the Korean War, they went through Vietnam. And I think men were really stepping up in an amazing way. And I lost my father back in 2020, which was an enormously hard thing to go through. But it really made me realize that I'm really grateful for all he did for us as kids. And it's really one of the reasons why I'm inspired to do this channel, because I think men are looking for the answer. I don't think the answer is being broadcasted, and when it is, it's often broadcasted in unhealthy ways. And I believe that the church is becoming effeminate. I believe it's geared more towards, I think it's morphing into a woman's club, and the men are just expected to just hang out there because are you going to be against God somehow? Are you going to fight God by not going to church? Which I don't think that's really the case, but I think that could be a way to pitch that. So let's go ahead and talk about this fatherhood. So nowadays we're expected to raise kids in a topsy-turvy world where the women are being cherished and the men are being villainized, and the women are being put on a pedestal, and they're being told, hey, by the way, if you would like to take the roles of a man, go ahead, and hopefully your spouse will be able to support you in your endeavors, and it's going to be a 50-50 thing. And if you decide you're not going to do your half of the 50-50, that's all right, because women's rights. And so men are left with a bit of a dilemma on their hands. So how do we maneuver through this space in time? So I remember just sermon after sermon after sermon about men need to man up, and men need to take control of the situation. Men need to be the leaders. So now, and this is the way you get to do it. You don't get to do X, Y, and Z. You don't get to do X, Y, and Z. You don't get to do A, B, and C. Here are all the rules for you, and then you look over at your spouse, and they're looking at you. Sounds good to me. You get the responsibility. Can't wait to see if you do all the things that you're responsible for. And you're looking like, what on earth is going on here? Like, when we started this thing, I thought that the expectation was that it was going to be 50-50, or that you were going to bring 100% and I was going to bring 100%. And really what it ends up panning out to is, once again, men are left with the expectation. People are expecting of men that we will step up and we will take it, and we will do exactly what we're told to do. When they say jump, you say how high. And what that does, that goes against the entire wiring of the way that we're made in the first place. So it's really, in a sense, we're going against the design of the maker. So when men, quote unquote, rebel against this new system, then the name calling starts and the pressure starts. And a few of them are thrown in jail or met with charges that have not been substantiated, but severity equals guilt. If a man is accused of SA, he must be guilty of it. Why? Because that's a really bad thing. And that makes my emotions boil thinking that that happened to someone. So this lynch mob mentality begins where, without understanding the perspective of the male perspective, we're just going to assume that everything that a man brings to the table is bad, predatory, and has the evil intention. So this is where we come from. This is the situation that we have as men as fathers. I would say this, just like I did a video on marriage, and I said you really need to be careful. These are a couple pieces of advice I can give to you. Say you're considering getting married. To a female with a child. It's very noble. It's very caring. It's above and beyond the call of duty. And yet, it probably is not going to work for you. Here's why. Generally, a female is not okay with you raising their child in a way that is disciplinary and will teach them values that will make them solid citizens. They're generally more geared towards nurturing, caring, and loving, but not the same love that the father gives. The father says this: you're going to be leaving when you're 18 years old. Let's get you ready for that. Mother says, I don't want him to ever leave because I love him so much. Let's nurture him. Let's nurture him. Let's support him. Love, support, nurture, support, love. So you end up with these man-child, right? You end up with someone that is always looking for the nurturing spirit. They're always looking for who's going to come and save me, which females have a tendency to have a bit of a savior complex in that area. One more week, we'll figure this out. One more week when a man says enough is enough. It's time. Time is over. Let's do this thing. Take action. Blow through obstacles. As far as fathering a child that is your own, no matter what, that is your obligation to your children. To give them the hard facts of life. Let's do the math, son. This is not sustainable. This will not work if we keep doing this. So that's the importance of fathering. So if you're a father, say that you're a father and you had a divorce. I just want to let you know that my heart goes out to you. I have definitely done that myself. It is a challenge, and it will never be totally great, but it can be very good. What you can bring to the table for your kids. Never abandon your kids just because the relationship didn't work out. I would never do that. If you're currently in a marriage and you're having a back and forth with your spouse about how to properly raise your kids, just understand one thing. God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, woman over children, children over pets. There's a hierarchy. It works. Until the Lord comes back, that is what works. So do what works. Don't worry about what everyone else is pressuring you to do. They may threaten prison. They may threaten to leave. Your job is to remain calm. Do not get caught up in your emotions and do what you were designed to do. Anyway, this is Lawrence with Fellowship of the Father. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. Like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell if you want to be notified of new videos. And I hope you have a great day. I got to get out of here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.